Hello friend, welcome back. From today's video, step by step, we'll build our complete inventory management system with using Laravel 9. Before, I have already set up that part. I have created one of the database name as inventory, and that is all that our details, right? That is all that our table. So friend, for our inventory management system, our first module will be as a manage user, which I have already covered. Right now, you are able to register some of the new user. You can log in with this user. You can change that profile, right? And also our second module will be as a manage profile. So I have already covered that module because in our previous section I have already covered everything, and also I show how to deal with it. I have already shared everything with the live example. So now for our building inventory management system, our next will be as a manage supplier, right? Because I have already completed that profile part, the change password part. Now I want to work for our supplier, because for our inventory management system, our supplier will be needed. And into this supplier, we need that view supplier. That means we'll get all that our supplier, and also we will add some of the supplier. Because that will be very easy. One of the part here we'll create another code applications, because first of all we have to create our structure for our inventory management system, and then step by step we'll go more deep. So that will be, as I told you, that will be very advanced level one of the project. Now let's complete our another module as a manage supplier. So for adding that manage supplier, I want to do in our backend, I want to create another menu. Okay, here I want to create another menu, and also I want to share one thing with you. From to this video, I will push this code to the GitHub. You will get all that lecture by lecture code. Okay, so it will help you a lot. Right now it's totally fine. Now I want to create another menu in our sidebar. If you go to our sidebar, that means that is in our project. I have already created that connection with our database, which is totally fine. And now if you go to that our resources, better first of all and to open our route. Okay, that means that is our web route will be needed. I simply open it. Okay, I simply open it. Right, perfect. So now if you go to our resources and then the view, and in our admin, I have created another folder as a body. Into the body area, that is our admin sidebar, right? You can see that is our admin sidebar. So right now that is our dashboard. Right now it's display as a dashboard. Right now here we don't need any span. I want to simply remove it. Okay, and to remove that span, and then there is a calendar. We don't need this. I want to take one li. Okay, so that type of one of the li, and here I name it as a manage supplier. Okay, manage supplier. And for the manage supplier, I only want to take one field. So right now we don't need this. I want to better make it a little bit left side. By pressing that shift tab, I want to make it left side. Okay, here only one field will be needed, and I just name it as a all supplier. Okay, all supplier, this type of one of the menu. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all, and now if you go in our backend, now click as a refresh. Yeah, now you can see now there is a new menu as a manage supplier, and into this manage supplier there is our all supplier. So for the all supplier, first of all I want to get all the data. Right here I have already covered everything in your previous section. I hope that will be very easy to you, because now I want to create some of the data. So if you want to get this data, simply here we have to create another route. Right here we have to create another route. I simply name that route. Okay, I simply name that route, and route name I want to put it as a like supplier all. Okay, this type of one of the route now I want to create. So if you want to create this route, we have to go to our web route, and into this web route now I want to create another group route. Okay, better I copy it. I have already covered everything, as I told you. For our admin route I have already covered. Now I copy it. Now I paste it. So right now I want to take only one. Okay, I want to take only one. I name it as a supplier all. So I copy it. Now I name that our route name will be as a supplier all. Our route will be as a supplier all. Okay, and now I want to create one of the method as a supplier all. This type of one of the method now we have to create. So before create this method, we have to create one of the controller, we have to create one of the model, and also we have to create another migrations table. Right now let's do that work. For doing this, I hope you already know how to deal with it. As I told you, our first part for this project will be very easy. Step by step we'll go more deep. Now if you want to do that work, right now that is our project, and I want to open with the CMD. Okay, I want to open with the CMD, and here if you want to create that controller. I hope you already know what exactly the things you have to do. Better I will make it a little bit big size. Okay, that will be big size. Now I want to first of all create another model. That means that will be the PHP artisan and make model, and I want to create one of the model name as a supplier, right? So that will be the supplier. So I want to create one of the model name as a supplier. Also at a time I want to create one of the migrations table. So now that will be created two of this file. It will be created one of the model, and also it will be created one of the migrations table. Great. Now we have to find out both of this file. If you now go to our database, into the database there is a migration, and you can see now there is a new table is added as a suppliers. So for the supplier I want to add some of the field. Okay, here better I copy it. I want to add some of the field, like I take one of the string, that will be one of the string type, and string type for the supplier I want to take that name, and also I want to make it as a nullable. If you don't want to use it, it's totally fine. I make it as a nullable. In our previous section I have already covered everything, friend. I hope it should be not hard for you, because as I told you, our first part will be very easy. Simply I want to create another code application for the supplier. Okay, now that is our name. I want to take another some of the field for this supplier details. Okay, I want to take another one as a mobile number, mobile underscore number. So that will be our another field as a mobile number. I want to take that email address, so that will be the email. That will be another one as the address. Okay, I just take another one as the address, and also I want to take another field as a status. Okay, status field. I want to make it as a, that will be as a tiny integer. I make it as a tiny integer. Okay, that will be as a tiny integer, and by default I want to do a status field. Into this status field, one of the default value I want to pass. Okay, so that will be the default value. I want to pass it like as a 1. Okay, so then that will be inserted. When this data will be inserted, automatically it will be add one value in our status field. So that is one of the default value. Great. And also I want to take another integer. Okay, I want to take another integer for our created by, that means which user actually created this supplier. I want to also get this data. For the reasons I take one of the integer value, and here I will name it as a created and then by. Okay, so that will be the created by default. It will be created one of the created at and then updated at for the our without this time space. But right now I want to create another field that will be as a created by, and created by I want to make it as a nullable. You can make it as a nullable, or rather than you can also make it as a empty. Better I make it as a empty. Okay, that will be as a created by. Perfect. And also I want to take another one for the updated. Okay, updated by, I make it as updated. That will be updated by. That means which user updated this part. Now that means this field. Also I want to make it as an integer. But I want to make it as a fillable, because I have already added all that field as a fillable. So right now, friend, that's all. I take one of the field as a name, another field as a mobile number, email, address, and then in our tiny integer I take another field as a status, and also I insert the default value will be as a 1, and then I take another one as a created by and then updated by. That both of these I take, our type will be as an integer type, which is fine. Okay, which is totally fine. So that will be all for our table. I click the save all. Now also we have to update our migrations, that is model. If you go to our app, into this app HTTP, and then that is our models. Into this model you can see now there is a new model as a supplier. So as I told you before, you can make it all that field protected, that means fillable by one of the simple command as a protected. Okay, that will be as a protected and then guarded. So that is a guarded. Okay, protected, guarded, and I make it as a empty array. Okay, so I make it as an empty array. I have already discussed about that things with you in our previous sections, that is a protected, guarded, and all. So now all that our field, whatever the field I have created, all that field will be now as a fillable. Great. And now I want to create another controller. Before creating this controller, I want to migrate it. So if you want to migrate, then that will be the PHP artisan and migrate. Okay, PHP artisan migrate. So now if you click as a enter, it will be created our table. You can see our table is now successfully created. If you now go to our database, and that is our database. Now I want to refresh it. Okay, I want to refresh it. Now that should be another new table as a suppliers. You can see it's now successfully created, and that is all that our field. Great. Now I want to create another controller better. So if you want to create that controller, that will be PHP artisan make controller. And I want to create another new controller. Better, I want to first of all create another folder into the pause. Into the pause folder area, I want to create a new controller as a supplier controller. Okay, supplier controller. Now click as a enter. It will be created in our controller folder area as a pause folder. Now that will be our controller. Now if you go to our project, if you now go to our HTTP controller, you can see it's now created another new folder as a pause folder, and here that is our supplier controller. So our first job is we have to take it, right? We have to take it in our web. So if you now go to our web, first of all we have to load it. I copy it, but I copy this one and then I paste it. So now that is our app HTTP controller. I have created a new folder as a pause. So that will be the pause folder, and into this pause folder I have created our controller name as a supplier controller, right? So now I name it as a supplier controller. Now we are able to access our supplier controller in here. So now that will be as a supplier controller here. Now I want to create another new method as a supplier all. I copy it. Now go to our supplier controller. Right now we don't need this, and also model will be not needed in our supplier controller. Here I want to create this method that will be the public and function, and our method name will be supplier all. I simply loaded that supplier all, and I want to make it as an and method. Okay, so that will be the and method. Perfect. So friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now here, first of all, we have to get all the data from our database. That is our database table, and then we have to view it on the page. So better I want to continue this process. In our next video, we'll do this work. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.